So you know a lot about animations. Easing, anticipation, footing. But your animations still look like garbage. Here's what you might be doing wrong. What entails a good quality animation? Well, there were a lot of stuff if you ask me. But you first need to do the setup work, so let's talk about onions. Onion skins work like layers of an onion, hence the name. But instead of making you cry like your mom when she catches you watching my videos without liking and subscribing at 2 a.m., they make your animation process a whole lot easier. With onion skins, you can see faint outlines of your previous frames, kind of like a trail of breadcrumbs leading you through the animation forest. We have this feature turned on by default on StickNodes, but sometimes you'd want to have a background and that blocks the onion skin. How do you get around this? Well, after you open up StickNodes, look to the top right of the screen, click on More Options, and then swipe down until you reach the bottom. Finally, click the Show in Front button, and that would allow you to see the onion skins no matter how many backgrounds you have present. The real secret though are these buttons. Using these plus and minus symbols, you can set how many onion skins you can see in previous frames and how many you can see in future frames. A lot of people underestimate how important this is, so when next you're animating, make sure to turn them on. I have talked about keyframes in my previous videos, but today we're gonna dive a little bit deeper.
I am under the water.
If you don't understand what keyframes are, then the easiest way I can define it is that it's the parts of the animation you want the viewers to actually see. But the term keyframes is more generalized. Personally, I think it's also understanding pose dynamics, understanding the connection between previous poses and future poses, and finally, understanding how all that translates into one fluid motion. How do you do this though? Well, what's important is that you've got to understand timing. What is timing? Take a look at these two animations that have no major easing. Here's the first one, and here's the second one. Notice any difference? I'm sure you do. It's the timing. Knowing when to slow down objects and knowing when to speed them up is basically what timing is all about. The first animation I displayed to you has all the keyframes at an equal space between each other. This ultimately leads to a static or dry sort of movement with no charm. This animation, on the other hand, uses timing to speed up parts like when the onion is going up, slows down at the climax, and then speeds back up again as it's going down. Just a small, subtle change like this can take your animation to a whole new level, as you can see. Here's another example. In a simple run cycle such as this, the stickman slows down when he's taking sort of a leap, and speeds up again the moment his legs hit the ground, as opposed to just equal space in between the frames all through. So you can see timing doesn't only apply to onions, but every aspect of animation. Once you've got the timing down, you're already like 50% done with the animation, and then the other 50% is just, well, practice. And I mean it, like actually practice. In the same way an artist practices understanding basic shapes and form is the same way a beginner animator should practice timing. They are both fundamental in becoming good at your craft. One pretty amazing way to practice is animating on a low FPS, say 10 to 13 frames per second. If you can get your animation to look decent at those frame rates, then you can gradually start moving at a higher FPS. I see a lot of beginner animators just jump right into 24 FPS at once, and that's only going to slow you down in the long run. My final tip for you guys today is staging. Now, staging is more than one thing. It's a mixture of a lot of things, to be honest. Composition, timing, exaggeration, and characterization. These factors all play a big role in it to enhance one thing: clarity. Composition has to deal with the camera and placement of your animations. In your animations, having the camera placed too close to your subject or too far can affect the whole scenery of things in total. It's also the arrangement of elements with the frame. It involves considering the placement, size, and relationships of characters, props, and backgrounds to create a visually pleasing and balanced composition. Exaggeration is a technique used in animation staging to emphasize actions, expressions, or emotions. It's about pushing the boundaries of reality to create a more impactful or comedic effect. By exaggerating movements, poses, or facial expressions, animators can make the animation more dynamic, entertaining, and expressive. Characterization in staging is all about capturing the essence of a character through their physicality, poses, and movements. It involves understanding the personality traits and motivations of the character and reflecting them in the way they are staged. Every character has a unique way of moving and behaving, and animators use staging to bring out their individuality and make them relatable to the audience. These three elements, composition, exaggeration, and characterization, work together to create an engaging, visually appealing animation. They help bring the story and characters to life, making the animation more immersive and enjoyable to watch. Some examples of people who are experts are these are Now, I didn't talk about timing because we've already spoken about that, but timing can also be considered to be a form of staging. Alrighty, as per usual, I'm gonna use this last 1 minute segment to talk about a little bit of the stuff that are coming to my channel. First of all, I'm sorry if you can hear crickets in the background. That's because I'm outside. Don't ask me why. So in my previous video, remember when I said we're gonna start having actual animations? That's still coming, and I've settled on storytime animations because y'all say I have a nice voice. I'll also be talking about my life, the good parts and the bad parts, what it's like being in college, into YouTube, at the same time, and occasionally a rant or two. So it's gonna be a fresh swing of content, and I really hope you do enjoy it. Other stuff include updating my banner and profile picture, but it's still me. Also, join my Discord channel. I do this weekly event where there's the best animator of the week is selected every week and presented with an epic animator role. So if you think you've got what it takes, then go for it.